make this quick. 60 altcoin daily patterns forming on the daily time frame. Let's see if we can do it in 60 seconds. First up is XTZ. XTZ has a daily bat pattern. VChain. VChain also has a daily bat pattern on the daily range. ACH. ACH is back into the PRZ after a type 1 of this daily bat pattern. Let's see if we can make it a type 2. Algo completing a daily bat pattern. Not the strongest X point, but the pattern is still valid. Let's see if we can get some traction here and run up to our first and second targets. ApeCoin is back down into the bottom of the PRZ of this daily deep crab. We need to see this XA level come back up and hold before we get any conviction that this is going to come to target. API3 is back into the PRZ of this daily Gartley. Gartley is very strong. This failed to make the full target 2 on the first run. Let's see if we can make a type 2 and hit both of those targets again. AR has a bat pattern on the daily time frame. We are coming back down, hopefully to form a higher low, so we can come up and make this into a type 1. Adam has completed a bat pattern on the daily time frame. In fact, it completed back here on this wick down, came back up, recovered this wick, and we are getting at least a little bit of a weak reaction. It needs to break above the XA and start to form strength in this PRZ between the XA and the BC level. AXS has another daily bat pattern, again looking very similar to Adam with this wick and then the recovery. Now we are fighting with this XA level. If we can take that XA level and reclaim it, that strengthens our call to make this a type 2. We came up, hit type 1 initially, back down, reformed our PRZ, and we should be on our way back up. BAL. I know it's here. There it is. BAL is back in the PRZ of our deep crab on the daily time frame. We are under the PRZ, so now that we have taken this liquidity at the low, we're looking to see if it can turn around. Draw your trend lines down, see if you can break that trend line, mark your supports, and on the smaller time frame charts, try and get in. BAT. BAT has a daily bat. That's hard to say. Anyway, BAT has a daily bat. We're close to our lows. We haven't taken down these liquidity wicks, so we need to see this turn around. We need to see, again, that XA level not just hold, but break. And draw your trend lines down, break the trend, break over the XA, get out of that PRZ, and come up at least to target 1, possibly target 2 for that type 1 reaction. Cody has a Gartley. I like to see Gartleys. Gartleys are very precise and very reactive. So we completed the Gartley technically here. We came up, we failed to take target 1, came back down into the PRZ, and we are getting another reaction. This extends our D leg and extends our X to D. CRO, another Gartley, weaker reaction on this one, but it is starting to curl back over. We're in this area here. You can see this demand zone, this demand block. We need this to hold and not drip down past the hop, the harmonic optimum price. That's a possibility. We could maybe get a nice little scam wick like these down in here and then lift back up into our targets. CVC has a daily pattern on the bat. Not a bad completion here, but we're looking for that reaction to get it pulled back up over this XA. Polka dot is holding the XA for now. We really want to see that retest hold and continue on. This daily bat pattern did complete with this wick down like some of the others did as well. We've rolled back over to extend our D point. Things need to move here. This is actually looking much more symmetrical now though, so that is a good sign. DYD is back down in almost the hop level of this deep crab, and at the hop level, just slightly wicking through it for this daily bat pattern. This is a double pattern back to back. It does look like it's fizzling out. These selling tails could be an indication of reversal. You usually get these long wicks down before things turn around. It flushes out all the longs, flushes out all the weak hands. EOS, EOS, again, a double pattern back in the PRZ of this deep crab. We have formed a daily bat pattern. We're now at the lows of the entire range. So if it's going to turn around, it needs to do it here. Keep an eye on EOS. F Classic ETC. ETC has a beautiful Gartley pattern. This is what we like to see. This Gartley with selling tails, high or low, and draw that trend line down. Hopefully we can break it, hold that XA, and continue on into target 1 and target 2. Filecoin. Filecoin has a daily bat pattern like so many other tokens do. This one did not complete with the wick down, but it did get that same rollover that all the alts seem to have gotten. We are near the lows, but we're holding a higher low. If we can continue to do that and roll over and roll back up, Filecoin could come back up for another test of this upper range. FTM, Phantom. Phantom has a daily bat pattern. Again, rolled up. We are here. You can see this area here of interest is also this area here of interest. If this spot can hold, this is a nice higher low, and this could come up into not just these ranges, but continue to expand upon. That's something I'd really like to see. Try to skip one. FXS. FXS, daily butterfly, weak reaction. We had a better reaction here, but this has been tripping and or just tripping over itself and trickling down. We have formed new lows. This is one to be very careful of. We do have a hop of this old PRZ on this old bat pattern down here. So it'll either roll over and go, or this is a dead token. I don't like being under this range, under this line. I would want to see it really reclaim not just the PRZ, but up here on this line. We are at the hop, so if you wanted to place some tricky bids down here with some stops just below the low, yeah, it's your money. You do what you want. But me, I prefer to break those trend lines. Prefer to see some confirmation that the market really has turned around before gambling my money into something that might be a little higher risk. Gala. Gala has a daily bat pattern. Ignore these old T1s and T2s. These are from patterns that we traded long before. Again, we want to see this area hold. We want to see that type 1 reaction. We want to see it come up into these levels, past these levels. But hey, if you get back up in here, these aren't bad areas to take a little out either. We do have a range that this is sitting into quite well. GMX. There we go, GMX. Coming back down towards the PRZ. We just avoided it, but back down towards the PRZ of this deep crab. If this XA level hits and holds, and then we want to see it kind of curl around and come back up, we can come back up into these targets. And not these. These were bearish targets. Ignore those. I got to take those off my chart. HNT. HNT is back in the PRZ of this large daily bat pattern. We've taken down all the single wick liquidity. We recovered that wick, which did recover this candle already. We've just come in and filled in all the orders down in here. Now we need to see it curl in, curl out, and take out that trend line. IMX. IMX has a daily bat pattern. Now we are looking at a bearish head and shoulders, right? So everybody's looking for more down. We could go down as far as the hop, but if we can break over this XA, we could spoof this whole head and shoulders thing and continue up and start to form another high, breaking this downward trend. KNC, where are you at? There we go. Back into the PRZ for this. This has already hit twice, so not as strong as it once was, but we are down back in the lows of our range. That does give us some, and you can see the wicks down into this liquidity zone. If we can hold and not continue to drip, then we can get some relief here on KNC. LDO has a daily bat pattern. It has already taken a target 1 almost, yes, twice now. Now we want to see it continue on to take target 2. That's quite a reaction off of LDO, and it is holding quite well. LRC has two patterns built into one. You can see this daily bat pattern with a crab also signaling in here, both near the same area, but we have weak reactions to both. So we have come down and hit the hop of this crab. I want to see this crab take off, right? So this crab is probably the most valid out of these two patterns. If we can see the crab take off and hit these two targets, then we can start looking at the targets for this bat pattern. And with completion there, we want to see the white 382 hit, which means we need to break over the A. And then we would see up here near the C point is the 618 retracement. Those would be your targets for the larger daily bat pattern if the crab breaks and continues. Mana. Mana has a daily bat pattern. Again, like the others, we see that loop, we see that roll over. And we are gathering traction here at old support. We have another bat pattern prior. We are back in the PRZ for that as well. So we have back-to-back bats, and we're hoping to get another rise out of these two patterns. Matic as two two patterns. We have a large butterfly, we have a large bat, and down in here we have a deep crab. This is very similar to the prior pattern we were looking at. This is better reaction as well. We are down here on the lows. Honestly, if Matic's going to go, this is it. This is it, guys. If Matic's going to go, it needs to do it here. And we're looking to try and get back up over $1 and then up into that $1.16 range. And if we can break this line here at 127.93, that'd be a big neckline for a large reversal. We could see Matic come back up to some highs that it hasn't seen in a while. So I have a lot of, yeah, I'm going to be watching this one really close. One is back in the PRZ, not only of this daily bat, but this daily bat as well. Just barely. I almost missed it, but, well, just barely hit it. We did slightly miss it. It could come back down into here, but it doesn't need to because it's in the XA here. So if it doesn't come back down to this PRZ, look for it to break above the new one. We want to see it just hit and hold that 17-cent range. If not, we could come back down into the hop level of either of these two, which would bring it down into the PRZ of this alt bat from last year. So we do have a lot of pattern support down here on the lows. OP has completed a daily bat pattern. This is a pretty good reaction. These are good selling tails. Again, we completed here. We made a type 1 into target 1, came back down. Now we're looking to make a type 2 through target 1 into target 2. We do have a fairly good sized order block range down in here, especially this high volume area node. And if we continue to go down any further, we have this daily bat pattern that we sprung, and that formed a type 2. See where it came up, hit target 1, came back down towards the PRZ, lifted back up, blew through target 2, formed another daily bat pattern. Whew, I'm running out of voice and I'm well over time. Let's keep going. Ren has a daily bat pattern. We are also at the lows. Render has a daily bat pattern. It is forming sort of this corrective triangle, and what we know about bat patterns is they like to extend ranges, so perhaps we just continue this forward range for a while. Rose has a deep crab. We are back down into the PRZ, at least close enough to it. Rune has a daily bat pattern. We are in this area of support. This is the area that needs to hold. If we continue to drip down, we break these necklines, we come back down, and we'll have to test these prior ranges. Sand has a daily bat pattern. We are at the lows of the, well, pretty much at the lows of the life of this token. So it's either like here or never, right? We do have a good reaction. We have a higher low. We need to break that XA. We need to break our downward trend. Solana has a daily bat pattern. We've come in, we've broken under this trend line, and we are testing it as resistance. If it continues to test as resistance and falls, we're looking at breaking perhaps under the PRZ or at least hitting it. And then the next line would be the hop. If we gain traction anywhere between these two, that's where we'd want to see that turn around and break up. or we can break back above this ascending trend line and hold it as support. Those are our two options there. STG. Whew, STG has a daily bat pattern, and we came up for a type 1, hit both targets, came back down into the PRZ to test the lows, and if we can get another reaction, we can make it a type 2 into both targets again. Theta has a deep crab. It has reacted very, very well. See, this is what I talk about when we want to see that lift out of the PRZ, that test for support, and into the next level, the PRZ. We haven't hit type 1 yet, but this is good structure. And let's see if we can continue on. We can take these two targets. XEM. XEM has a fairly weak, deep crab, but it is starting to curl back over. If we can get some reaction here, we can curl it back into the PRZ, break the PRZ, break the trend line, and continue on to our upper targets. XLM has a daily butterfly pattern. We did complete it here with the wick, just like many of the other bats, but we've also continued to drip lower. We're down into or through the PRZ of that Gartley. Let me move that back. I don't remember. Oh, this is the hop line, right? So that's our low line. Personally, I don't want to see it break under these two yellow lines because that's where our new hop is, and we want this butterfly to actually take effect. Not just for a type 1, we hit it once, but back down, hold the PRZ, and come back for a type 2, possibly even a type 2 of this bat pattern, which has already hit target twice. We could hit it twice again. Zen. Zen is a daily bat pattern. We had a good reaction off this wick. Good reaction here at the initial completion. Now we've dripped under. We've taken the liquidity. We've come almost all the way down to a new low. Let's see if we can get traction here. Break back above this red line, which is no longer just liquidity. Let's put it here. That's really the level I want to see it break and hold over. If we can break and hold over here, we should be pretty good for more liftoff. Zill has a daily bat pattern. We've come back and kind of rechecked this zone. We're testing the XA. If we can break above the XA, if we can break above those trend lines, then it's off to the races with Zill. Hook. Hook has a daily bat pattern. This is a weak reaction. This was better. We're coming down towards the hop. We really need to see this one turn around. The momentum down is strong on Hook. Be careful with that one. RSR has a daily bat pattern. This is a smaller pattern than some of the other ones we've been watching. That's fine. We can see that again. Bats tend to like continuation. This was sort of an expected movement. You don't always get these big explosive runs. Sometimes you just get back and forth. But it's good to see all these patterns forming on the daily time frame. Blur has a daily bat pattern. Back down here into this low order block. We are sinking today with strength. That's why you want to wait for confirmation. That's why you want to make sure that these guys are breaking back up. I don't know what happened to Blur today. Minus 13%. Yikes. Joe is a daily bat pattern. We've come down and we retested that low, or it looks like we're retesting some lows again. Let's see if it can hold this area. If it can, and we can break it back up, it could be a good time to go on Joe. EGLD. EGLD has both a deep crab and a butterfly here. And the butterfly has run through, so I don't put a lot of stock into this one. Let's take the butterfly, just out of consideration for a moment. We're really just trading this deep crab to see if we can't come in and lift up out of this area. Trios has a daily bat pattern. Had a reaction, came down under. Looks like we're reacting up again. Still need to break that trend line. We still need to see some momentum come in. As you can see, everything's red today, right? Because we are still in this little trading range, this chop, and we haven't broken out yet. But these patterns at lows are telling us, when we get this many daily patterns in a row, that's telling us something. It's telling us that we could be on the verge of a turnaround. Altcoins are either at their lows or near the lows, or in the case of Render, I mean, oh no, this isn't Render, RDNT. I can't even keep up with these tokens. In the case of this one, we are forming new lows. Now, I'm less apt to want to trade something that is forming new lows than some of these stronger movers that we've had that are forming higher lows. So, a daily bat patterns come back into the PRZ on H bar is for me a better buy than this. ARB has again come down into the lows. I don't think we've taken quite the liquidity off the bottom. I wouldn't be surprised to break one morning low before possibly turning around. NMR, daily bat pattern, like many others, had a wick, rolled back over, extend the D leg. Let's see if we can get this PRZ, like minus 6% today. If we can hold these wicks down and then roll over, it could be on the way back up. MDT, another daily bat pattern. A good reaction here, but we are rejecting some of the upper PRZ levels. We need to hold the lower levels and then climb our way back up. WLD, a daily bat pattern, trying to hold this trend line. If we can hold it, if we can just scrape back up and roll over, that'd be a good indication that we could be coming in to break this PRZ and then head to our targets. INJ had a really good reaction. It is now testing the upper end of the PRZ at the BC level. This is a good strong one. This is one I like to see. This is one that is almost ready for me to want to dip some money into, because if we can hold this BC and confirm it as support, that's when we can take off to these upper targets. SEI again, like some of the others, it's starting to test these PRZ levels. We have our crab. This isn't much of a move. Like, this is a lot smaller than some of our other ones, but yeah, I like SEI. So Aston, is that AST? Asto, sorry. Asto, daily bat pattern. We've come in. This is kind of a weak D point. Come in, down. We're sweeping it again on the lows. If it doesn't hold here and just trails out, I could see this one just being dead in the water. I don't know what this token is, but it needs to roll back up, and we need to start heading into this PRZ and breaking through. XVG, like the others, I drew a trend line on here, right? So we've come through the trend line, but now we're coming back down. If we sink back under the trend line, that's a failed reaction. It becomes a deviation, and we don't want to see a deviation. We want to see, yeah, actually, if I put these on the wicks, it is rejecting the trend line for now. So it does need to come and form a higher low at some point and then break this trend line, break this line here, the XA level, to break out of our PRZ and back up into these upper targets. So how'd I do? 22 and a half minutes. So just a little over 60 seconds. Sorry, I tried to get it done as quick as I could. Anyway, if you guys want a detailed analysis of these trades or setups or these patterns, because most of these aren't ready yet. Like, they're not cooked yet. We have patterns, we have support, but we need to show it, and we need to show strength, and we need to show turning around. I just wanted to bring all of these patterns to your attention. This isn't even all of them I have. This was just a quick collection. Altcoins to me look like they're ready. They're almost ready to start that turnaround phase. We have patterns, we have support, we have look at that volume range right there. Like, where is XVG going to go? You'd have to sell off hard to get back down into here. And even if we do, that low is the hop, and it could continue from there and run back up. You got to be careful with altcoins. I don't like trading them with leverage. Even with spot buys, you want to set your invalidations. It's better to get out and look for support if they fall through than it is to just ride them down. Anyway, again, if you want my more detailed explanations, yeah, just come on over to Market Makers. I've got links in the description below. You can find me there. You can find my more detailed analysis there. I have a lot of my TA explanations. There are a lot of other coaches and traders down there, or well, in there as well. I wouldn't say down there, but yeah, come and join us, and I'll talk to you guys next time in another video. Bye.